Well, hi, it's Jennifer, and welcome to today's video. I hope to be an encouragement to you today. If you are somebody who is looking to start a YouTube channel, but fear is holding you back, I want to share with you my story, the fear that I had to overcome, some of them more serious than others, in order to finally step into my YouTube channel. I am approaching my 1-year anniversary from the first upload here on my YouTube channel. And I was somebody who had a calling. I'm a person of faith, and I believe that God had put it on my heart to start a YouTube channel 5 years prior to the time that I started. So I'm almost to a year. So 6 years ago, I felt God put it on my heart to step into YouTube because I was kind of languishing in my life at that time. I was really uncertain of the future. The future that I thought that I was going to have was looking differently. And because of that, I had a lot of uncertainty. So when I began to get the call to start a YouTube channel, that just seemed like an impossible thing. And I was really afraid to, because I didn't even really know where I was going in my own life. So how could I possibly start a YouTube channel? At the time when I began to feel the calling to start a YouTube channel, my future, I couldn't quite see what direction I was heading in because of the circumstances that had happened in our lives prior to that within my family had changed the future, and I was in this uncertain state. And that may be something that you're going through. You may not be sure where your life is going. You might be in a transition period. And that's exactly how I was. Our lives had been humming along, and then significant things happened. Some of those significant things were, number one, so I have 4 children. My oldest daughter, we are estranged. My husband and my 3 other children are estranged from my oldest daughter. That was a significant life-changing situation. And unfortunately, we were careening toward estrangement, at that time. And if you've ever gone through estrangement, and if you've ever had a situation like that where it is not good, and at the time, I never would have expected that. I never thought about it. But when it did happen, now it's been almost 10 years, by the way, and she's still not in our lives. It's been 10 years. I look back now and I can see all of the steps that were leading to that moment. But at the time, I really didn't believe we would ever get to that point. But honestly, it needed to happen, and it needed to happen for both parties. Now, it took me many years to say that. And I was devastated, and I felt horrible over it. And I, as a parent, felt like a complete failure. Even though I had a great relationship with my other children, it was still devastating that the relationship we needed to separate from my older daughter, she from us and us from her. But you know how it is though, even if you have these situations and like on paper, you think, oh, parent and children, well, there should never be any problems. And if only that were the case. And it's like divorce. It's like, people start off in love, but then they end up getting divorced. And it's like, how does that happen? And how do these things happen? And sometimes they just happen, and it just doesn't work for a variety of reasons. That was where we found ourselves. And at that time, I, of course, felt like a complete failure as a parent. I was a full-time homemaker. I was a full-time homeschooler. Even though I had successful relationship with my other children, I was devastated over the fact that I couldn't make it work with my older daughter. And that really impacted me significantly. I really thought and felt and believed down on myself. So when I began to get that call to start a YouTube channel, I was like, who the hell am I? Like, my life is a mess. And have you ever said that? Have you ever looked at your life and thought, I look at my past and it's a mess. Like, who am I to even dream of stepping on a YouTube platform? And that was me. I really struggled with that issue, just with my value. And I have a video on here called, Is Unworthiness Holding You Back from Starting Your YouTube Channel? I go into a little more detail because during this prairie time, as my daughter called it, not only did our relationship end with the oldest child, but then the church that we were part of, tanked. We were part of a Baptist church culture. We were really, really involved and had been for decades in our church ministries and the people and all the activities and all the church services and all the things. It was very much a large part of our lives. Well, our pastor ended up committing adultery. He ended up tanking the church. And in the meantime, he hurt a lot of people. He pushed a lot of people out. He became very controlling. And if you've ever walked through any type of church situation like that, you know it can get quite nasty. And our family was one of those families that experienced his wrath. And at the time it was devastating because we thought we had a really great relationship with our pastor and his wife and their children. When our relationship ended with the church, we weren't ready to jump into a new church at that time. We had to heal, like lick our wounds and just be like, oh my gosh, what just happened here? And that's something that Mel Robbins talks about. Before I launched my YouTube channel in September of 2024, I was part of a coaching program the summer of 2024 with Mel Robbins. It was one of the best things I ever did. She didn't offer it this last year, sadly, but she described the 3 phases of life that you can find yourself in. She called it phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Phase 1 is survival mode. That is, you have just had a really life-impacting experience, life-changing experience, and you are in survival mode. And she called that phase 1. You know, you're not setting goals. You're just trying to survive day to day. Then she said phase 2 was the languishing phase, where you're not in that survival mode, but you're not in phase 3 where you've embraced where you are today. You've learned your lessons, you've healed, and you're ready to really step into your future. Phase 2 is languishing. When I got the call to start my YouTube channel, I was in phase 2. My future looked completely different. So not only did we have the significant life change with our church, which was a huge part of our lives, and we weren't ready to jump into a new one. So it was kind of this vacant spot. Then our relationship with our daughter ended, and that took a long time to heal from and to get over. And the life that we thought we were going to have as a family of 6, an immediate family of 6, was a family of 5. And that was what it was. And that took a long time to get over the survival stage. And when you're languishing, there is uncertainty because the future isn't clear. You're not in that phase 3 where you've healed and you've got your lessons. You have the full perspective. You see God's hand in it and you accept where you are. And that was me when I got the call to start YouTube. And that may be something that you find yourself in. You might be in that phase where you're feeling this call to step into your YouTube channel, but maybe you're in a languishing phase, or you could even still be in survival mode. And you're looking at your life and you're thinking, well, I thought I knew where my life was going, but now the future looks completely different. Or maybe you don't even see the future yet. And that was me. And I ended up putting my YouTube channel off for 5 years after that calling. I talk about this in my Unworthy video. It brought up a lot of childhood issues for me, trauma, a lot of family problems. And I found that counseling was a saving grace for me. During that 5-year period where I was putting off starting my YouTube channel, I wasn't completely stagnant, because what I ended up doing was I ended up getting into some really good counseling. I talk about that in one of my videos. I think in one of my first 30 videos, I think I call it Therapy is a Useful Tool. And it was one of the best things I ever did. And if you are somebody who wants to start a YouTube channel, but maybe you've gone through a difficult time in life and you're uncertain of who you are and where you fit in, therapy can be a really useful tool. And it takes time. It took me time. I ended up getting into some really great therapy. It was one of the best things I ever did. I did some talk therapy. I did cognitive therapy. I've even done a little EMDR, because when I went through that phase in my life where some of these major events happened, and especially the estrangement with my daughter, it brought up some childhood issues for me. And I needed to work through those. And I realized that I was struggling with perfection. Perfection is based out of fear. that could be another thing too. Like uncertainty brings fear, and perfectionism comes from fear. And I thought, who am I to put myself on YouTube? And that was something that I really struggled. I looked at my life and I'm like, my life isn't perfect. And because I had such a bad view of myself, because my relationship with my oldest daughter did not work out, and I felt like such a failure, and I was really negative and down on myself for a long, long time, I thought, who the heck am I to put myself on a social media platform? My life isn't perfect. But as we all know this, we know this. If you were sitting down with a friend and a friend said that to you and you loved that friend, you would say to your friend, nobody's life is perfect. We all have complicated issues with family. We've all gone through difficult things. We will go through difficult things in the future, and nobody is perfect. And we just have to navigate through these difficult times and hopefully collect wisdom on the other side. And that certainly is where starting a YouTube channel could come in, is nobody's got a perfect life. And trying to hold with a death grip to perfection, which is something I tried to do for so many years. I tried to death grip this life, trying to prevent certain things from happening. But sometimes it just does. This earthly life of ours is a very complicated, complex life. We are dealing with complicated and complex individuals and relationships, and none of us are perfect. We are all trying to figure out things as we go, and sometimes things just don't go the way you'd like them to go. But what are you going to do about it? And that was something that I had to go through. It's something I went through during those 5 years where I kept putting off starting YouTube because my fear of the fact that I wasn't perfect. I really had that fear. I ended up starting my YouTube channel a little afraid. Now, I had gone through the counseling, some time had passed. On September 17th of 2024, I finally started my YouTube channel, and I did it a little afraid. Now, I had gained some perspective. I had gone through the counseling, and we're going to have a wind warning, by the way. I wanted to take us up to Flat Top here in Anchorage, Alaska, but the rains came and the wind, so I'm pulled over. I am looking down into Anchorage, and I'll show you some scenes after, but it's a little bit blustery here. And while I was recording this video, I saw a national weather alert for high winds here in Anchorage, and especially up on the hillside. Perfectionism was the thing that was going to hold me back from starting my YouTube channel. Nobody's perfect. We all have to navigate through difficult times in our lives, and we will continue to do that. So you can push past perfection and start your YouTube channel. That's something that I had to do. And the beautiful thing too, when you push past your fear and you do the thing that scares you, that is when you will begin to build courage as you step into your YouTube channel. You may be somebody who has struggled, like I have, with fears that are a little more serious in nature. They are bigger life fears, and we all go through complicated things in life, but you can still start your YouTube channel even if your life isn't perfect, even if your life doesn't look like how you thought it should look. You can still start your YouTube channel, and you should, because you're only going to continue to grow, and eventually you may share your experience. You may share those things on your YouTube channel, but just because your life isn't perfect doesn't mean that you are not worthy to have a channel, that you're not worthy to have a voice here on this platform. We all are, and we all have a story, and that's one of the things that I have learned. And I am so glad that I finally did step into my YouTube channel, that I pushed past those fears. And it took some time, it took some therapy, it took some time, it took a coaching program that I was part of before I finally was able to get up the nerve to start my channel. But I'm so glad that I did, and you will be too. Now, the things that I've just shared with you are more of the serious side of fear, and maybe more of a serious topic and a serious issue for why you may not want to step into your YouTube channel. You fear those types of things. But let's talk about some other fears that could be holding you back from starting your YouTube channel. Another fear is the equipment and technology fear. And that is a real fear because once again, that can stop you from stepping into your YouTube channel and uploading. To this day, I only use my Android cell phone. And in fact, I gave myself a challenge that I had to do YouTube for at least a full year before I allowed myself to buy any more equipment, any new camera, a new phone, a computer, a gimbal, anything more expensive than like a tripod stand. I did buy a tripod stand. I do have a microphone that I purchased and it's still in the box, and I bought it a year ago. Well, almost a year ago. I think I bought it in October. And I have a box light. It's still in the box. And I just ended up only using my phone, seeing how I could maximize the use of my phone to create content for YouTube. A kind soul gave me a couple of suggestions for apps to use on a phone. One of those was Splice, and that is what I use. I film, I edit, and I upload all from my cell phone and my personal cell phone. And I've only ever had an hour's worth of recording time. And that is what I've done for an entire year. Sometimes fear can even come from the fear of success. What happens if my channel does blow up? What happens if I do build a channel and I do build a subscriber base? Will I be able to maintain? Will people still find me interesting down the road? What if I lose my touch? What if I can't keep my viewers satisfied? We can have all kinds of fears of success. But once again, the important thing is that you will cross each barrier that you come up against. You will learn how to overcome it. And the only way that you get over fear is by stepping into it and doing the thing that you're most afraid of. If your channel grows and it blows up right away, you will quickly learn how to adapt. I've seen it already with content creators. There are some here whose channels grow up immediately. And you know what? Their channels are still going strong. Then there are other channels who just continue to build and build and build. And you know what? They just keep building. You will find that you will try new things. And YouTube will introduce you to a community of other creators. You will start to see each other's work, and you will become creator pals, is what I call them. And I have a lot of amazing creator pals here on this platform. And one thing I have learned in watching the other content creators in my community is that they continue to grow and to try new things. They're always growing, they're always adapting, and they're always trying new things. As the journey unfolds before you, you will try new things. You will see things that you hadn't seen before. You might try something that you thought, oh gosh, I never thought that I would do that, but I'm really interested in trying to make my videos this way. Or I'm going to hire out help and to get help here, which originally I thought I was always going to do it myself, but you know what? I'm going to hire this part out. You will adapt and overcome as you begin your journey. So these are some of the fears that can hold you back. And I just want to encourage you to step into your YouTube channel, even if you're afraid, even if you think your life isn't perfect. It doesn't have to be. Even if you don't know your niche or exactly what your videos are going to look like and you're not really sure, that's okay. You'll figure it out. You don't have to worry about the equipment. Just start with your cell phone. You'll learn more as you go, and you don't need anything more if you don't want to. I know plenty of successful creators, and they only use their phones, and they have very successful YouTube channels. Step into YouTube, even if you're a little afraid of it becoming successful, because you're not quite sure how to handle it, because you've never been there before and you don't know it. You will learn and you will grow. So I want to encourage you to step into your YouTube channel. And then one day you will be like me. You will be approaching your year celebration on YouTube. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's been a little windy. I hope the sound isn't terrible. I'm going to find out when I go home and put in my earbuds in. I hope it won't be too horrible. I hope it wasn't too terrible of a distraction. But I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it encouraging. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.